Welkom bij Dragonchain Nieuws, beste Nederlandse en Belgische vrienden. Vandaag in het Nederlands, het is eens iets anders. Ik ben Philippe Hansson, ik ben VP Business Development bij Dragonchain, zoals u waarschijnlijk wel of niet weten. Ik ben tot nu toe redelijk op de achtergrond gebleven bij alle social events bij Dragonchain. En daar zijn waarschijnlijk goede redenen voor. Ik was misschien bezig met interessante zaken. Ik wil het vandaag even hebben over adoptie van blockchain als technologie. De vraag die ons veel gesteld wordt is de volgende. Hoe zit het met de wereldwijde adoptie van blockchain? Gaat dat vooruit? Gaat dat in de goede richting? En ik denk dat we daar 4 grote categorieën kunnen onderscheiden die bepalend zullen zijn voor de ontwikkeling en de adoptie van blockchain. De eerste is nog altijd het gebrek aan kennis bij het grote publiek. Maar ook gebrek aan kennis bij, laten we zeggen, de beslissingsnemers binnen ondernemingen. Als we kijken naar het grote publiek, kunnen we de vraag stellen, moet iedereen weten hoe blockchain exact werkt? Waarschijnlijk niet. Ik denk niet dat er veel mensen zijn die weten hoe 5G werkt, hoe websites werken, hoe een telefoon werkt, hoe een iPhone werkt. Dus dat is waarschijnlijk niet nodig voor de adoptie. Maar als we kijken naar de bedrijfswereld, daar zien we dat bepaalde mensen, zoals een CEO of een CTO, nog altijd niet echt doorhebben hoe blockchain werkt. En daar hebben we nog iets te doen. Daar hebben we nog een rol te spelen om die mensen te informeren wat blockchain kan en hoe het hun bedrijf zal helpen in de toekomst. Dat is volgens mij de belangrijkste opdracht die we als bedrijf hebben om adoptie te promoten. Dus dit was mijn kleine inbreng deze week in Dragonchain Nieuws. Dank u allemaal om te kijken en te luisteren naar mij. En als u vragen heeft over Dragonchain, over blockchain in het algemeen, laat ons maar weten. Dank u, tot de volgende keer.
Yeah, so you'll probably notice that on our open source project, we list our banana index right there on the README. We're really proud of that. It's because at Dragonchain, we care really deeply about code quality. We use open source projects like Code Climate to try to identify where the patterns of good and bad code in our projects live. And we ran our own machine learning and if statement algorithm to figure out where those correlations really are. And it turns out that, unsurprisingly, fake variable names come up often in projects with good code quality. So the word banana came up a lot in our test frameworks, just because people needed, throwaway variable names. And there was actually this interesting discrepancy with like older devs tended to use foo and foobar, and like some of the junior devs were throwing out banana and other fruits and vegetables and stuff like potato. And there's actually merit there. It turns out that the IFVNC actually deprecated foobar in like 2016. So I'm proud that we made the switch completely over to bananas. And right now I think we have the number 2 banana index in like all of GitHub. We're second only to the Dole Corporation. And they put out great stuff. So we'll get there.
That was bananas.
Yes, and you're back. Hopefully you're feeling better. Right?
Yeah.
Right, good deal.
Great.
So we're going to start by talking about decentralized identity.
Yes. Dragon Factor.
Yes.
We have Dragon Factor, right? As a new decentralized identity solution. Maybe Joe, you could tell us a little bit about what Dragon Factor is and the problem that it's solving.
Right. It's something that we've been wanting to build and starting to build for quite a while. We had the back end for over a year now, and I'd say we haven't ever had time to productize it. So basically it's a way, though, to split apart your identity so that you're not storing it all in one place, or at least you have the option to store parts of it in some places and parts of it in other places. And the typical decentralized identity patterns where you control your own points of identity, or in our case we call them factors, right? Multi-factor, but where everything's a factor, anything's a factor, and at any granularity. But we have, at least I think, some unique angles on the structure and the actual model.
Got it. So how do you see decentralized identity being used in day-to-day standpoint?
I treat it like I do the platform itself, the same, at least in my mind, that people will be able to do things that I don't expect with it, right? Because we've even had cases where people have come in and asked us about things that I wouldn't have said, oh, that's a factor, obviously, but the points of data, health data, financial data, things like that, but that anything could be a factor. So I imagine that depending upon the type of adoption, right, and we have two different angles, right, and you probably know more than I do about it even, but the top-down approach where we want to go to someone that needs to consume identities from their own customers, but then we also want to hit an angle of the people themselves, that is the identities, the identity owners, that we want to incentivize them to provide better identity, to control their identity better, and to ideally build a network marketplace of identity. So
Does this how does this relate to things like federated identity, like things like Facebook and Google and those places where you sign in with social login and those types of things? Does that replace it? Is it the same thing? Or how are they different?
But definitely not the same thing. But you could build those components in as factors, so you could use those and you could integrate with those. So if you already have a system that uses Facebook login, that you could plug it in still. But the real point is that we can create a user experience that is as simple as, or even ideally simpler than, login with Facebook or login with Google or Twitter or whatever else, but doesn't put all of your eggs in one basket in Facebook, or Facebook with Libra and all the rest of that stuff going on. That you'd be able to separate yourself and say, I don't want my info there. I want to still be able to do this simple thing, but I want to be able to control where and that includes anonymous IDs. We have solutions cooked in that you could have a market that would limit anonymous IDs, but would still make them possible. So if you want to, because people need anonymous identity.
So maybe you can dive a little bit deeper into what it is an anonymous identity, like anonymous, pseudo-anonymous, and are there other things? Is there digital identity, proven identity, and what are the different types of spectrum of types of identities that can exist?
I think it is a spectrum. You could have pure anon, you could have some level in between, but the point is that you could prove to anyone who is consuming that identity, like say it's a website that's letting you have an anonymous account, that website can know that you've gone through some operation that has something to do with scarcity, where it knows that you aren't very likely to have 1 million of these anonymous accounts, but you have one, and on the other side, that even if the user with that anonymity wants to prove that something really was him or her, they could after the fact, and everything in between. I mean, it kind of depends, and that's why it's flexible, because we don't know precisely how people would want to use it. So we know, like with DIN, like I have specific things that we've thought through to make anti-censorship work with DIN, including anonymous accounts, and still being able to measure whether, like say, loyalty of this customer, even though I have no way to actually identify.
Interesting. Right. Interesting. Do you see? Is this a replacement to passwords? Is it a password? Is it a replacement to passwords? And what is that? Is it a combo? Like I'm trying to get my head wrapped around what this is.
Ideally a replacement to passwords, but with public key crypto, so that it's stronger for one. You have to be careful about the keys, but we think with Factor, once all of the UI comes out, all whether it's an app, whether it's a web app, that the user experience is clean and simple. We think passes the grandma test for usability, yet is extremely strong, right? That the key in the end is that Dragon Factor can have on top of it what we call Prove a Human, which is a rollable key system where it's not a wallet, so you don't have tokens held by your keys, but the identity itself is matched to the keys. So if I lose the keys because I don't know there's crypto behind it, I do have a backup, of course, but I also have the ability in a really organic way with other humans to let the system know with some measurable level of risk that it's me and I did lose my phone. And so there's some neat stuff there. But that's a big part of it, that it makes it simpler. And like say when you go to a website, you wouldn't have to remember your password. You would just have to have either your device, or if it's you have capability if it's a purchase or some high level security action, that I can have a second factor which is tied to all these other factors that will prove that, oh yes, this really is me, yet it's really simple. So anyway.
Nice. Well, I think I'm done asking questions. Should we start?
Yes, we have
the Reddit AMA.
Yes, we have AMA, and we said top 10. And top 10 questions. We got 51, I believe, last I checked, questions. And so I'm going to try. I'm going to tell you when we get to top 10, but okay. I'm going to try to get through all of them in some amount of time. See how fast we can go. Okay, so why is open sourcing the platform so important, from Tenacious Dragon? Open sourcing the platform really helps because the community and the world will be able to see what's going on behind the scenes, the most important place, which is the code. We'll be able to elicit feedback more readily. We'll be able to hopefully get more contributions from the outside. We'll be able to hopefully get better plugins, and it's really going to be important because we can turn on security and bug bounties. Those are coming, things like that. So, and there's a lot more than that. It's transparency, and it's where we wanted to be at the beginning. But being in crypto, we just thought this was a much cleaner, less distracted way to do it. Okay, next question, CryptoLesh. When will we have C#.net and other languages supported in Dragonchain? Hopefully soon. I'm hoping to get in one of our bounty programs an SDK bounty going. For now, you can do RESTful integrations. I've not done it myself, so I don't know how much harder it is or anything, but you could theoretically already do C# or .NET in there, but that's hopefully coming. Next, Blackfish. Has a date been selected for the start of Dragon Scale? We don't have an actual date. We've said fall, and we have various series of partners, and right now we're trying to figure out which partner we work with first, and or whether we just do a pure Dragonchain and Dragon only contest to start, and that's all coming in the fall. The guys are working on the devotion contracts and the submission forms, and I will. This is the only time I'll answer the second question. How many prospective projects do we have competing? We don't know yet. We have definitely a few that have expressed interest. They want to submit. We don't have the submission open yet, so we don't know the numbers yet. Chart Pirate asks, can you tell us who Chad is? Yes. I'm a Einery asks, are there European companies that are interested in working together or becoming a customer? Yes, when we were over in Europe, we interacted with a a lot of different companies and different levels. We're working onward with a few, hopefully to do some neat things. JTrades 26, Dragonchain versus Ethereum, VeChain, Qtum, Lisk, and so on. What advantages does Dragonchain provide for a company or companies to use over other options, such as the above or Hyperledger, etc.? From the beginning, we are structured and designed. The architecture is entirely bent on business focus, on building real business value on top of the platform, and to be as flexible as possible. I would say that architecture is the primary advantage, because everything comes from that, and you could maybe say philosophies the real, because that's how we got to the architecture. See here, what are your biggest goals or visions with Dragonchain, and what are the biggest obstacles on a road to achieve them? The biggest goal vision is to be the best platform for real business use, and to provide products that aren't necessarily blockchain. No one will care that they're blockchain, but the fact that we're plugging in the capabilities, that's what matters. The biggest obstacles, crypto Twitter. Just joking. Why is Dragonchain not in the top 10 with billions market cap when its network is fully scalable, multiple coding languages, hybrid, open source, private, and solves blockchain's trilemma? I like that. And that is Ugly Dad Bot. I don't know why it's not in the top 10. Danny? Any thoughts?
No idea.
Okay. All right.
No idea.
Whatever. That's all early stuff. It's also pets.com didn't survive, right? Yeah. See here, I have to admit, I'm not happy with the rebrand of Dragonchain and the changed speech. What do you reply to hodlers like me? Timsh, you should be ashamed of yourself. Improvised guy, if I made a legit JoJo puppet, could I do the news on Super Happy Dragon Lucky? Danny?
Sure.
Yes, I think that'd be good. Yeah, it'd be good.
Get rid of the kidneys. So.
Yes, that's top 10. We're at 5.5 minutes. I think I can get through. Two types of people: people who sleep with socks and those who don't. It depends on the season. Let's see here. When will we be announcing more partnerships? I don't know when they are to be announced in the contracts. How many clients are currently using the platform that you know of? Not asking for client names. I don't know. I know of a good few, but I don't know how many, especially total. You saw the level one. I mean, of course, a lot of the level ones are ours, but a lot of them aren't. I believe the community would benefit from an updated roadmap every 6 months or so, and Huddle Dragon's already responded that we provide that every month. What's our best accomplishment? I think our the platform itself, the way that it's actually built, and I guess delivering repeated forever. Node update. Any instructions on how to run your own unmanaged device node? That's coming.
There's a full doc up there.
There's a full doc, but we're going to get some better tooling so it's easier, right? We're going to keep trying to make it easier. Ideally, it'll be something where you can go into Amazon, Azure, or Google and turn on one of their images and configure it, right? That's the ideal. But then running on your own hardware is what I really want. Let's see here. What do you think of Cosmos having the same vision as Dragonchain about interop and being developer friendly? I think it's great.
It's great.
They're smart, right?
Competition's fantastic.
Yeah, and it is different enough, and so it's a good competition. Hopefully we'll interchain with them, and then everything will be beautiful. Rainbows and unicorns, right?
Rainbows and unicorns.
Okay, so which onboarded client are you most excited about in terms of solving problems with blockchain? I don't know. I mean, that's a hard one to answer. Whatever.
All customers.
Yeah.
The best.
We can't pick favorites. No, I'm just joking. Why make a rebrand and basically just replace the logo for a JoJo holding a book and DDS renamed to Time? It was DDS DDSS, and mostly, I think we said that in the beginning, that the original intent was for JoJo to be holding a treasure chest. That was even the OG JoJo was holding a treasure chest. But and it was basically to attract attention, which it did, for the open source announcement, which it did. Love it or hate it. Will Joe be running for president in 2020? I think Joe Biden already is running for president in 2020, but no answer on. I'll get into that. That's probably enough. It's 8 minutes, right? Probably good.
Any more?
Yeah, there's too many more.
All
I
right.
won't make it any further. So, all right. Signing off.
Signing off.
Thank you to 2 Wonder Kids.
Great.
It's crazy JoJo's craziest merch sale ever! Get everything in Dragonchain merch! Get it all now during Crazy JoJo's craziest merch sale ever! JoJo's prices are insane! We are not undersold, we will not be undersold, we cannot be undersold, and we mean it! Get a JoJo shirt, get a Dragonchain sticker, get a hardware wallet, and get a limited edition JoJo while you still can! Go to merch.dragonchain.com. That's merch.dragonchain.com. Merch.dragonchain.com.